que digan que soy un bandolero donde voy. Le doy gracias a Dios por hoy estar donde estoy. Y voy a seguir con mi tumbao y con mis ojos colorados.
Hey, Alex! We can't go that way no more.
American Boy. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting how the boys were so young, and I thought it really talked about how young boys have to deal with masculinity. And just him feeling like he had to stand up for himself to the point where he was in that position, and it's like, was it his fault, or I don't know, I guess that's a question for the filmmaker. It seemed like his pride was so big that he couldn't tell his mother, his brother, and the way it ended, it was just like, I was crying at that point. But yeah, I thought that was, working with young boys, I just thought this is maybe a movie that I'd like to see elaborated on more. So that's it.
I thought the storyline and the dichotomy of the movie based on what's going on today, what has been going on for generations in African American and Hispanic communities. There's a lot of single parents, and the mother had to do what she had to do. But the two boys, she gave them directions and instructions to do certain things. The environment, which caused the mom not being at home to monitor and there's no father there, created the problem, the situation. The older brother tried to protect the younger brother, so he took the bullet for the younger brother so that the younger brother can continue. But in the end, no one wins.
Yeah, they all suffered, and I think they mentioned about with the father. The father was in a gang too, so essentially following in his footsteps, even with the guidance of the mother.
I just really enjoyed the way the filmmakers introduced that first, the main character, the older boy. It's like within 5 seconds of seeing him, you kind of got the idea of everything that was there and what was in it. I thought that was really awesome.
This brought to mind for me a book called Domesticus that I had to read in sociology studies about how oblivious the employers are to what their employees have to sacrifice in order to be there to take care of their families. And it was touched upon when she told her son she didn't know what time she would be home. Basically, it's until they didn't need her anymore. That sacrifice is very, very real in communities where people have to care for others' families in order to provide for their own, and in doing so, they sacrifice their families lots of times because they're not there for the guidance. They're not there from the time before the sun rises till way after the sun sets. They're giving all of their nurturing and their caregiving to their employer's family. So I thought that was a very intense, especially seeing that her son had just been shot, and like her fleeing to go, she might not have that job anymore as a result.
No, you're right. And then also, when you have children that are so young, they can't really fully understand what you're doing and why and where.
Yeah, I felt that you didn't really understand the gravity of the scene until you hear the female protagonist cry into the phone. And it was incredibly moving and believable. And so you're sort of being, you're seeing visually throughout the first part of it, obviously this kid getting hurt and the outcome of that, and then getting killed, but you don't really feel it until, it's being, ripped out of the mother's hands, I guess.
Yeah, I completely agree. When I watched it, that's the part that really tugged at my heartstrings the most, is when I saw her cry, her pain.
I'm not sure if the filmmakers here, but from a technical point of view, the acting was tight, the compositions were tight, the cinematography was pretty good, and it's interesting seeing a location you drive by often and seeing it from those angles. And just the random thing at the end where the boy is running and asking for help and somebody wouldn't help him, that just felt so real. It brings me back to again, being in situations where asking for somebody to help and everyone's kind of ignoring you. So kudos on that note.